Every time Australian house prices hit a new record, you hear the same explanations. Too many immigrants, not enough houses, greedy investors. And honestly, it feels true. More people, fewer homes, higher prices. But here's the uncomfortable question most people never stop to ask. When you pay $1 million for an ordinary house, what are you actually paying for? Is it the bricks? Is it the land? And if it's neither, then where is most of that million actually going? Because the truth is, when you break down the price of an Australian house, more than half of it isn't paying for a house at all. And understanding this changes the way you see the housing market forever. Welcome to Behind the Money, where we explain how money really works in a simple way. But first of all, a quick disclaimer: this is not financial advice. Now, to figure out where the money goes, we have to stop thinking about a house as one thing and start thinking about it as three things, stacked on top of each other. Layer 1 is the building itself: the bricks, the roof, the kitchen, the labor to put it all together. In Sydney, that costs about $400,000. That's the part you can touch. Layer 2 is the land underneath, just the dirt, valued the way farmland or empty space is valued. In Sydney, that's worth about $280,000. So, add them up. Building plus land, about $680,000. But the house doesn't sell for $680,000. It sells for $1.16 million. So, what is the missing $480,000? It's not the bricks. You already paid for those. It's not the dirt. You paid for that too. We know these numbers because Australia's own central bank, the RBA, did this exact breakdown. They took the average Sydney house apart on paper, priced every layer, and found that the biggest layer of all was something you can't see, can't touch, and can't build. Layer 3 is permission. Here's the easiest way to understand it. Imagine two identical blocks of land side by side. Same size, same street, same soil. But one of them has a piece of paper from the council that says you may build a home here, and the other one doesn't. The block with the paper is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars more. Nothing physical changed. The only difference is the paper. That paper is called zoning. And in Australia, zoning rules decide where homes are allowed to exist, how many can exist, and how tall they can be. When the rules only allow a small number of homes in the places everyone wants to live, that permission becomes rare. And anything rare becomes expensive. The RBA put a number on it. In Sydney, zoning added about 73% on top of what it actually costs to supply a house. In Melbourne, around $300,000 per house. Brisbane, about $160,000. Even an apartment in Sydney carries hundreds of thousands of dollars of pure permission in its price. So when you take out a 30-year mortgage, a huge slice of what you're borrowing isn't buying you shelter. It's buying you a spot in an artificial shortage. But here's the thing. Zoning has existed for 100 years. It can make houses expensive, but it can't explain why prices suddenly took off like a rocket at one specific moment in time. For that, we need to look at what happened in September 1999. For most of the last century, Australian house prices grew at about the same speed as wages. Boring, steady, the way it should be. Then, around the year 2000, the two lines split apart. Prices doubled their speed and never looked back. What changed? Two tax rules met each other. The first rule is called negative gearing. It works like this. Say you buy an investment property and the rent doesn't cover your costs. You lose, say, $10,000 in a year. In Australia, you can subtract that $10,000 from your salary before tax, so the tax office effectively pays for part of your losses. Now, losing money on purpose sounds crazy, unless you know the price will go up. And that's where the second rule comes in. In September 1999, the government changed the capital gains tax. From that day, if you held a property for more than a year and sold it for a profit, only half the profit was taxed. Put the two rules together and you get a machine. Lose a little money each year and the government shares your losses. Sell for a big profit later and the government only taxes half your win. Suddenly, a house wasn't competing with other houses. It was competing with every other investment in the country and winning. Investors piled in. Today, roughly 1 in every $3 of Australia's home loans belongs to an investor, not a homeowner. More borrowed money chasing a fixed number of permission slips. That's the machine.
Now, you might be thinking, hold on, maybe it really is just a shortage. Maybe there just aren't enough houses for everyone. Here's a simple way to test that. Look at rents. Rent is paid by people who need a place to live. So, if Australia truly ran out of houses, rents should have exploded right alongside prices. Same shortage, same pressure. But for most of the boom, they didn't. In Sydney and Melbourne, prices skyrocketed, while rents crept up slowly. Think about what that gap is telling you. The demand for living in houses grew slowly. The demand for owning houses went vertical. That's not a shortage of shelter. That's borrowed money chasing an asset, because the tax system made it the best game in town. So, if we know all this, why doesn't the government just fix it? Look at what they actually do. First home buyer grants, 5% deposit schemes, stamp duty discounts. Every one of these hands buyers more money to bid with in a market where the number of homes can't grow fast enough. So the extra money doesn't make houses cheaper, it just becomes part of the price. And here's the awkward part. About 2/3 of Australian households already own property. For them, the family home is their savings account, their retirement plan, and their inheritance all in one. Any politician who genuinely made prices fall would be making most of their own voters poorer. So instead, every fix is designed to help you pay a high price, not to lower it. So here's the takeaway that most people miss, and it's the only thing you need to remember. An Australian house price isn't one number, it's 3 layers: the building, the land, and the permission. And it's that third invisible layer, pumped up by zoning and supercharged by 2 tax rules from 1999, that turned the Australian home from a place to live into a financial product. So the next time you see a headline about record house prices, don't ask, why are houses so expensive? Ask the better question. Who is being paid for the invisible layer? And who voted to keep it that way? And that's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to continue growing this community. Thanks for watching, and see you very soon. Bye!